You are looking live at a daily chart of the Nasdaq and just going to go through some of the particulars here today. It was up 16 points. It didn't feel like it did it, or 0.1% on falling volume once again, 9%. So the last 3 days, we've had this attempted rally. Tomorrow is day 4. We're looking for a follow-through day here on the Nasdaq. I know, people, I sense that people are getting super frustrated with this market, and it's going to test your patience. It's going to test your discipline. It's going to test your ability to, hold out and do your willpower of not making stupid trades and not plunging in. You want to ask yourself before you plunge into the market, has the market proven itself? And to this point, the answer is, you could tell me, no, absolutely not. There's no confirmation here. There's no follow through day. There's no reason to be getting long and plunging into this market until it does prove itself with a follow through day. So to me, you just kind of, you have to just sit on your hands a little bit. I know it's tough sometimes, but it's the prudent thing to do at this point. We had this ever since this March 8th day. It's just really been trading sideways. March 8th, where it, reversed. That was the day NVIDIA hit 974 in reverse, and it's just been kind of going sideways. Yeah, we had a little, sell off, the last couple of weeks. We took it below the 50. And what I want to see is not only a follow through day, but to rally through these moving averages here. So it's going to take a nice little rally here, because the index today closed 2.1% below the 50. So, and now the 50 is turning down. You can see the shorter term moving averages, the 10 and the 21 are, turned lower as well. So, but, that can change. Like I said, you got to be from Missouri. You got to say, show me. And so far, the Nasdaq has not done that. So just be patient. Don't. I like to make little trades here and there when the market's chopping like this, just to get some feedback, but I'm not going in 100% or going on margin. These are just little 2% trades, that are just probing the market. So this is not a time where you're going to make big money. You make big money in this type of environment, not in this chop fest that we have right now. So anyway, the S&P, pretty similar action here, as we've had three days higher. So tomorrow could be the first day of a follow through day, a new rally here. So keep the faith. It's 1% below its 50 simple moving average, is up 1% today. So yeah, the 50 is at 51.20, and it's 1% below that. So you gotta wait. You gotta sit back and say, show me, prove it to me. And like I said, when the market is like this and a power trend, it's easy to make money, that's when you want to go 100% in. And now when it's doing this, chopping around, you just kind of, you don't want to lose your profit. So you just kind of sit on the sidelines, make little trades, and go small. Size matters. You want to be small here. Don't be big position, because there's not a lot of stocks going crazy and paying. I'm going to get to that in a minute. The Russell 2000, I'll just go to the IWM. Down a little bit today, slightly. Now this is day 4. Today was day 4 of an attempted rally. You can see day 1 on Monday. Friday, day 2 on Monday, day 3 on Tuesday. Today just had an inside day, and it's above its 10 EMA. So this is positive. It didn't make a lower low or anything. It's making higher lows. Had an inside day. That looks pretty good to me. You just got to be patient. Like I said, there's no confirmation signals yet. Wait for the confirmation signal, then we can start plunging in there. Not going crazy, but just, I think your trades you'll have more success with your trades. History tells me that's the case. Now the Dow Jones, I was expecting this one to follow through today. This is day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it had a nice day yesterday on Monday and Tuesday. Had some real good momentum here. It was up 0.2% there, and then 0.69% yesterday, and then today just kind of flat. So don't give up. We never give up. Stay patient, but just ask yourself, has the market proven itself with a follow today? And so far, the answer on all these indexes is no. So there's no reason to be plunging in there. and going head first and putting a bunch of money in, and because the trades aren't in this choppy tape are most likely going to work against you. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Anyway, I got to get to the Mag 7, which there's no longer magnificent. Apple, this is bottom fishing. This is like a defense playing here, buying Apple, trying to get it at a good price. To me, they've lost all their momentum, all their mojo. They're behind in AI, and they're losing share to other companies. So, and the China trade is not working well for them. So that doesn't look too good to me. Tesla had a terrible earnings report, but a nice response, up 12%. That just looks like, bottom is in, capitulation selling now up the last 2 days, possibly a little short covering. So we'll see where that goes. Still has a ton of resistance to move through. Microsoft, they report tomorrow. So, under the 50, just got to wait, right? Same with Google. They report tomorrow after the bell. And you just got to wait and see here. Amazon was down today a little bit. They report next week, squatting at the 50. We've seen that with companies, and it really doesn't work out too well. Needs to get off that 50. And then NVIDIA, like I said, when it goes down, 80 points, you want to get 40 of it. You want to get half of that back in the next two sessions. And it got 33 one day and 29 the next. It did a really good job, but today kind of pulled back and it looked like it's getting resistance at moving averages. I thought it would trade higher after the Texas Instrument report, which, wasn't a great report, but it looks like they're turning the corner, and things are looking better for Texas Instruments. And these are real cyclical businesses. So when they turn the corner, they last for a while, kind of like Micron, nice reversal in earnings here. And yeah, when businesses like that turn around, it's usually for, many quarters or even years. But anyway, getting back to NVIDIA, I digress. Getting back to NVIDIA, it just rejected at the moving average. That does not look good. SMCI, I mean, longer term, I'm sure NVIDIA is going to be fine, but these are, just short-term stuff here. Same with SMCI. They're going to report next Tuesday. So you know how explosive this one is, but it's having problems after the big vertical violation of that 50. Anyway, I'm going to move on today because I saw some really disappointing action. And first of all, Vertiv, they reported a really strong quarter, 79% EPS growth. It looked like the thing was going to take off, but then Mr. Market got a hold of it. Here it is on a 5-minute chart. And you can see in the morning it was up, and it looked like it was really going to go to 100. I thought it was 15 minutes in, it's at 94.39, made that high, and then sold off, which is expected, profit taking. But normally when it comes down here, you'd want to see it move back up above that old high of 94.39, but it didn't. It just kept selling off all day. So that's really disappointing. I believe it closed about 25 percentile of the daily range, 22%. So yeah, that's really bad action. And what's even worse, I thought, was Spotify technology, which was up 30 yesterday, down 22 today. I mean, up 3, down 2, but it filled the gap here from yesterday at 280.97, traded below that at 278.14. That's the one positive. Other than that, when a stock gaps up in an uptrending market, you want to see gains that add on to the gains here. It went across that 313.16, took out that old high there on Tuesday. And what you want to see is it, maybe have an inside day, but eventually blast higher, above yesterday's high. And it just gave just everything back today. It was really, really disappointing move in Spotify. At 319.30 was the high. So that's the number we're looking for. And still a strong stock. I like it. But pull back to the 21 today, just not good action. GE was another one, really strong report yesterday. Now this is a little better action because it's just an inside day here, and it's trading above the 10, where Spotify was down by the 21. GE looks really good to me here. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing power higher. What's tomorrow, Thursday or Friday? Yeah, the next couple sessions. GE looks good, but you want to see these things power higher after an earnings gap like that. This is MedPace, had a real strong action yesterday. Yeah, up 8%, $30, and today gives back, a third of it, $10. That's not the type of action you want to see. It did make a little higher high there, but then pulled back and closed near the 16% of its daily range, which is weakness. The market is just like I said, it's got to show me, and so far it hasn't. Another earnings casualty, Netflix. I mean, they had a good report, but they're not giving Wall Street what it wants, and Wall Street's kind of punishing them because they don't think their subscriber numbers are important. They want to be judged on other criteria, and Wall Street doesn't like that. Like earnings and sales. Wall Street doesn't like them changing the criteria, and so they're not going to be rewarded. They're in timeout for a little bit, but this is really bad action here. And like I said, I'm gonna give you the give you the bad stuff first. If it bleeds, it leads. And so I'm being real negative right now with all this stuff, but there are some positive. I'll get to them in a minute. Novo Nordisk, after being down, 6 consecutive weeks, was up Monday and Tuesday, and today just pulled back to its 50, closed right there at the 50. I'm doing nothing wrong. They're going to report next week. Lilly's going to report next week. And so, that's what's going to drive these two stocks. Lilly, if you took out that 50 there and just looked at Eli Lilly, you'd say, oh, okay, it just, went up to 800. And, now it's down to, in a little trade range here, 730. There's nothing wrong with that. It's at the bottom of the channel there. They're going to report on Tuesday. It can get to the top of the channel real fast, or take out the old 800. So just like I say, hang in there. Just keep observing these stocks. Eli Lilly is a big winner. They're selling everything they could make in that weight loss category. Same with Novo Nordisk. So don't give up on them. Biogen IDIC, Biogen, just Biogen now. They reported a strong quarter and got rewarded. But this thing is like the Jim Morrison trade. It's been down so long that it looks like up, right? It's up 4.5%. But my goodness, this thing, if I go to the weekly, it wasn't that long ago, where Biogen was nearly a $500 stock. Now it's at 200. So and 37% off its 52-week high, even with the move today. So but all companies can do is report the numbers and let Wall Street figure it out. DAWN, they had a really muted reaction to a cancer drug approval, just traded back to its 50. Kind of found support there. It closed at 12% of its daily range. Not what you want to see after a drug approval, but it's sitting right there, just 0.2 below its 50. So I like this setup, but it's got to get above this 1689 here. Traded up to it today, but it's got to get above that, for me to get interested here. And it's just showing weakness. I mean, the tape is weak. The drug stocks were really weak today. I just, one of those days where the drug stocks were weak. So Novo, Lilly had tough days. I guess I go to AQST. These guys closed below the 50. It's done this before, a couple of times recently where trades below and actually closes below the 50, then it pops up, then pulls back. So it's kind of a magnet to the 50 right now. But if you look at the bigger picture, take a step back, had this big run up and now just the pullback and kind of flagging. So not doing anything wrong as long as it's around the 50. There you can see this action here. So not really doing anything wrong, but they're expecting a news from the FDA. So that's one thing that's keeping people interested. But if you know about it and I know about it, everybody knows about it, and then the news comes out, it's probably not much of news because everybody knows about it. Okay, so I'm going to move on to crypto now. I feel like crypto, really surprised. Crypto is holding up, doing well, and today, I wouldn't say it crashed. Today it fell down a little bit. It was had a nice rally, and this is Coinbase here. And if you've seen this pattern before, like wedging on the 50, that's a bear wedge. You want to see the thing pop off the 50. We've seen that with quite a few stocks lately. They come down to the 50 and they just squat there. And, that's kind of a bearish wedge. A bull wedge would be, something like that, where it drifts down and but finds support and moves higher. Now it's drifted down. It's just kind of It's going up. It's like a rising wedge with a weak volume. That usually, results in something going down. Wouldn't be surprised to see around 200 here pretty soon. MicroStrategy, which has been a really strong stock this year. Now this looks a lot like Coinbase, right? It's squatting at the 50 today, traded below it, down $73 or 5.5%. Yeah, the volume's lighter, but tell that to your account. Yeah, my stock went down 5%, but the volume was light. Doesn't matter. Only price pays, and that thing sold off pretty hard. And like I said, it had this nice run, and now it's giving it back. So you don't want to be giving your profits back. At least I don't. Okay, I got to move on to, CLSK. That's right. This is another one that's on our ready list now. This one had a nice run, pulled back a little bit today. It's going to trade with the crypto or digital currency market. So you got to watch that market. And if the market's up and rallying, then this thing's going to rally. And if it's pulling back a little bit, this thing's probably going to pull back. But you could see the RS line traded through the moving averages, which is a bullish sign. But yeah, 1 day pullback. We'll see. We'll monitor it tomorrow. It's had a nice rip there. All right. Enough of the bad stuff. I'm looking at stuff, that I think could possibly be winners down the road. This is Datadog, and you got to look at the weekly chart. Had the big sell-off with all the software names, cup with handle pattern, and I thought it was really going to break out and rip, but it didn't. It just traded in this flat base pattern. You could see the earnings line heading north and Datadog just going sideways. It's up 5% this week, almost 6%. So to me, this thing's showing relative strength. It was up today in a week tape. Definitely keep your eye on Datadog. It's above its 50 now. Just an inside day today. I really like the looks of this thing at 127, a 46. It gets above that old, high. Yeah, I kind of like Datadog. I got to be honest. I like Datadog. What can I say? I love dogs. Elastic. I was been watching this one for a while. I said, watch it make a bottom, watch it make a bottom. Under 100, I thought it was, pretty good buy there, and now it's above 100, 103, but it's got this cratering or downtrending 50 simple moving average, which could act as resistance. You see the RS line going through the moving average there. Elastic to me looks pretty good. Once again, we see in Datadog and Elastic this earnings line going north and the stock going south. So just me, I think it's going to resolve higher, but they have to, deliver earnings. That one's 24% off its high, where Datadog was pretty close to its high. So I prefer Datadog. I think Datadog looks better. Yeah, 8% off of its high in this flat base. So, but they report earnings on the 7th, so you just kind of have to wait. I wouldn't jump in ahead of earnings, unless you were going to, take a lotto and buy some calls or something. But I'm just going to wait for the number. NTNX is another software name that just in a flat base pattern here, doing nothing wrong. It undercut the 50. Now you're looking for it to rally back through the 50 here. So it hasn't done that yet. Just got to be patient. It had a nice bounce here. And if those lines weren't there, just like I showed you with Lily, if the lines weren't there, you would just say, well, we made this high around 66, 67, tested it, retested. Some people call it a double top, but it's just in a channel here. It's at the lower end of the channel. If you're a good trader, you'd say, sell here, buy here, sell when it gets back up to the top of the channel, sell at the bottom of the channel, and just keep playing that game. But if you're just holding it, it looks fine to me. I got a couple of questions on NTNX, and it's just in a flat base, only 9% off its high, holding up pretty well during this Nasdaq correction. So that is looking good. And also the food stocks. Once again, we're going to food. Well, everybody eats food, right? This is Sprouts Farmers Market. Yeah, I'll probably put it on the ready list. I'm going to have to. This is looking too good. Just in this flat base pattern, as you can see that 65, 66 buy point right there. and that one looks good. It's showing relative strength as it's, finding support at the 21 here. This magenta line, been up, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row. Not bad. I do shop at Sprouts Farmers Market. My wife loves their produce there, and they have some nice, well, they're definitely more affordable than Whole Foods. So Sprouts is probably the lower alternative to Whole Foods. Anyway, another KLG cereal. Breakfast in America, pump your kids full of sugar. Tony Tiger says they're great. And this one just is, I don't know. It's like the IPO was priced too low, and it's finding like price discovery, like it wants higher prices. You can't fight the trend. That is a beautiful trend. Finding support at the 10 EMA today, a little bit extended here, 9%, 9.3% above the 10. So a little hot, but definitely trending in the right direction. If you're a trend trader, and you bought this thing as it bounced off the 21, it's doing nothing wrong. In fact, it's doing everything right. That's what you want in a stock right there. And that's Kellogg. It's a spinoff from Kellanova. They had to split up, so they didn't have to, but they thought it would be more efficient, kind of like GE. And this is looking pretty good right here as well, breaking above these little channel area. Okay, so one more that I have to show is VITL. This is my friend's Lauren pick of the year, because eggs were $10 back when she picked it back in January or late December. It's doing great. When she selected it, it went flat, and then all of a sudden it just boom took off, and now it's just trending with its 10 EMA, and just like Kellogg. This thing just looks like it wants higher prices. This is VITL Farms. It's 31% short interest. Austin, Texas company. You can see this is a nice cup shaped pattern, no handle, unless you want to call that the little handle there. Boom, and they're just taking off. That thing looks fantastic. Yeah, up 5.5% this week. Why don't I own that one? All right. So anyway, just had to share some of the good with the bad. Another one that I have to point out here is in the retail space is the Amazon of South Korea, which I always get a kick out of. Now this thing was flat and a pretty weak tape today, so this thing's showing strength after breaking out, and now just kind of forming a little shelf pattern, but definitely a strong stock. There you can see that cup with handle, the breakout. Now the last couple of weeks, it's up 3.5% this week. So Coupang is doing well. I know people like to say, "Oh, Stanley Druckenmiller likes a stock." I don't buy stocks because some billionaire owns it. That's a really bad practice. Do your own work, have your own style, have your own conviction. Definitely have your own strategies. Don't be copying Stan Druckenmiller, because those guys are in a different world. They live in a completely different world. Elf, this is one that I was talking about with the gap to fill there at the 181. You can see the low of this day as it sold off. This day here, the low was 181, and the next day the high was 179. So it had a gap there. And I believe it's got a gap here. What was that? 146. What am I talking about? 146, 186. So the high there was 186.46, and the low was 187. So there's another gap there. So I believe it filled that gap there today at 181. Yeah, 181.97, and the gap was 181.21. So it filled that gap there. Still has another one here at a 187.05. So to me, I mean, this is just forming a base. I think, eventually when we get through looking at this thing, it's going to be looking like a double bottom base. I don't know. Maybe it'll sell off more. I don't know, but it looks to me like it's done going down. And it's going to, fill that gap there. Earnings aren't due until May 23rd. So what did I say? 187. That's your magic number, and it's closed at 176. So, nice $11 gain. I'll take that off of ELF if it manages to close that gap, which I think it will. And then LULU, I keep coming back to LULU. It's I think it's done going down. I'm not sure. it certainly looks like it made a bottom, making higher lows. And today it was down, but it didn't make a lower low, so that still looks good. Still has these moving averages to work through, and you can see the RS line now starting to head due north. So that one looks pretty good to me. I'm not going to do the oil stocks or the miners or the steel stocks. I get tired of doing those every day. But it was a defensive day. The home builders kind of stunk today. And since I brought them up, what Pulte was another one that reported yesterday. Had a nice move yesterday, made another, made a move above yesterday's high, but then pulled back and closed near the low of the session. Excuse me for toggling back and forth here, but I like to see with the action of the day. The daily range is 31%, so closed near the lower third of the session, which is not real good. You want them closing near the high, but yeah, so it was a pretty bad day for the home builders as well. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Except for I lie, I have one more thing. I talked about Meta platforms having what is an 8% implied volatility with their earnings report today. So at 500, an 8% move would have been 540, or a move to the downside would have been about 440, and right now it's about 436. They reported a strong quarter. Their guidance was light, and they, capital expenditures, and well, they're going to have a conference call, so you're just going to have to wait to see what the CEO says. It was a pretty strong report, though. They beat, and I don't know. Wall Street's funny. Tesla has a bad number and it goes up 10%, and these guys deliver a good number. They're down 11%. So anyway, what are you going to do? We just have to wait for tomorrow. This is not going to be good for the QQQs, though. If it remains down here 11%, and it's going to definitely whack the Nasdaq. It's hard to imagine that the Nasdaq would be higher tomorrow with Meta and Service now down 5%. It was down a little more, so not too bad, only down $40. I didn't really get to their report at all, but down more than 5% is not a good thing after hours. And one more I want to look at, CMG, which is Chipotle. They have that 1,000-to-1 split here coming up. No, it's only 50-to-1, but 50 shares for every one that you own. It's going to take it down to about $60 here in June. I forget the date. I think at the end of June it's coming up. But yeah, I guess they had a strong report, and inflation's not bothering them. Maybe they're making smaller burritos. I don't know. But technically, pull back to the 21, you're finding support and moving higher. And the other one was Ford reported this afternoon, and it's up to something percent. Okay. Anyway, like I said, one of the stocks I'm intrigued with was Vert. This one pulled back to the 50 for the first time since the breakout, so I expected a big move here, and it did bounce. I mean, it did bounce. Can't say it didn't bounce. The 50 there is 74. It traded down to 72, and now it's at 84. So, considering the tape and everything, up 12% this week is a nice move. So anyway. Don't give up. Like I say, allow the market to prove itself. No sense in jumping in. It has not proven itself yet. So wait until it does. Yeah, I know it's up 2%, more than 2% this week, but it has not had a follow through day. So we're waiting on that tomorrow with all the indexes. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. How disciplined and how patient can you be? That's what the market is asking. Have a good evening.